Turning now to homes. Actually, a very good action here being taken by the president. We'll see if it stakes. Let's go put it up there on the screen. Donald Trump saying for a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for working hard, doing the right thing. But now, because of record high inflation, blah, 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 the American dream is increasingly out of reach. It is for that reason and much more, I'm immediately taking steps to ban institutional investors from buying more single family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals, and more at my speech in Davos in the next 2 weeks. Maybe not the venue that I would choose, but the policy I will take.
Right, yeah.
The policy I will take. As I understand it, actually, this was a policy project that was very near and dear to Charlie Kirk's heart. And now, as the president and his team are gearing up for the midterms, they understand that they have an affordability problem on their hands. This is the type of executive order that they want to make public. You will note, as he said, that he hopes that Congress codifies it. We can put the next one up on the screen. Senator Josh Hawley had said that, quote, "This is a terrific idea, long overdue. I will gladly introduce this bill in the Senate." And what's kind of interesting is that the Trump administration knows it has a problem on their hands economically. They know that inflation, housing, many of these other things are hurting them at the potential ballot box for 2026, but also just the general minds of people. People understand very deeply that housing is like a major barrier for them and to their ability to have the American dream. Part of the reason why I think that there has been so much consternation around this idea of these large private equity companies or large like corporations owning and managing so much housing stock, because it does make you feel like a slave, to a bigger economic system. So at the very least, want to give credit where it's due. Hopefully it does become policy. But I do think, at a smaller level, like this is also a victory for shows like ours and for a lot of other people on the internet. You and I talked about this on our very first week, I believe, of Breaking Points.
Wow.
So almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
At this time, just to give people an idea of like, this has been at the center, I think the forefront of online politics, things like this, things like stock buybacks. And I do think the audience and others, you guys are the ones who deserve credit because you made it into a thing and now it's bubbled its up all the way to the White House. So I actually think it's a good story.
If Trump just did stuff like this, he would have like a 70% approval
90%.
Like, yeah. I don't know about 90%, right? But sure. 70% just because of partisanship, but he would be wildly popular. I mean, the thing is, I don't think the American people expect you to like have a magic wand and fix everything. And look, is this going to fix everything? No. In housing market, no. But at least it gives a sense of like, I am focused on this. Yeah. I am not just making Venezuela great again. I am doing Netanyahu's bidding and like thinking of bombing 10 other countries. I hear your concerns and I'm doing something that, a wealthy, powerful interest in this country are not going to be happy about. So look, all the caveats, we'll see what happens if it comes to, he can't do it really through an executive order. It would have to go through Congress. You're going to have lots of lobbying from a lot of well-heeled institutions that will be, funneling money to a bunch of Republicans in particular, since they're in control, but plenty of Democrats too, to make sure that this never happens. So there's still a long way to go before we get this. But, the idea, yes, let's do it. And look, I don't want to understate, because there's a lot of like, I think overall permanent capital only owns like 1% of the housing stock, et cetera. But if you look at D4, there are certain places in the country where there's been a concentrated effort and it has had a real impact. So put D4 up on the screen, guys. This is the map. You can see actually Florida is one of the hot spots for this sort of buying up of housing. So you can see areas in the country where it's fairly concentrated activity. And the thing is, when you have these large institutional investors come in, they can pay in all cash. And they can just come in and it's like not a hassle. And so even if they're not outbidding you, they're able to do this with such ease and with cash up front that it's very appealing for a lot of sellers. So you will no longer have that particular entity competing with you in the housing market if this all actually comes to pass.
That's right. Let's put the next one up there on the screen, D5, about the stock hit. Blackstone took a huge hit, their 9% drop immediately with this announcement. This is exactly, what I would like to see. And, to bolster your point, it's very disingenuous to just for people to say, oh, only 1%. It's like, guys, it also matters by population, where people live, how it shapes the market. By the way, keep in mind, that graphic you put up was only people who own 100 single family homes, 100. So if you own, even 20, I mean, think about what a large landlord that you already are. You're rolling in it from that point forward. So it is totally, belies the point. And it's very obvious housing has been a play for a lot of these, from small to giant private equity giants, that they've been getting involved in. Griffin actually found a good one as well. Can we put D3 up there on the screen? What you can see in front of you is it's not just it's single family homes, but 9% of residential land. And it's well understood that land and the connection to the housing market is deeply connected, not only in terms of speculation, but literally the ability to buy. And what you can see in front of you are so many different localities which have a significant population, especially in the city of New York. I mean, these are very populous places. A lot of places in Florida, some of the growing areas there in the United States. So I think that the people, because I've seen quite a bit of YIMBY critique of this, there's like an abundance kind of idea that actually it's a good thing for more housing stock and or for more money to be involved in housing. But like this has always been my critique of that movement, is it belies individuality, Americanness, pursuit of the American dream, and of that ability to attain wealth. It's not just a place where you park your bag, put your bags. It's a place where you raise your children, and it also gives you at least a bit of a lift into being able to attain some level of wealth and potential forced savings and accumulation over a long period of your life, which is ultimately why the house in and of itself is such an important financial asset. It's not just, you don't invest in it or buy one simply, just because you have to have a place to live. You have to have one, and it's a forced savings mechanism, which over a period of time can appreciate marginally, that you own equity in, that can then propel you to a next or a different step, potentially if you want to pass it on to your children or any of that. So I do think it is very, very important. Good policy. Hope it actually becomes a thing.
I hope so too. And I like the sentiment that people live in houses, not corporations. And if we can get that ethos, that's a real start in terms of sort of, really focusing on what houses are supposed to be about. They're not just for financial speculation. It's supposed to be about, people actually living there. So we'll 100%, we'll give them credit 100%. On this one.
Let's do the defense contractor one quickly, just because I think it's interesting. D2, can we put that up there on the screen, guys? This was a truth that the president put out. He said, all executive pay packages in the defense industry are exorbitant and unjustifiable, given how these companies are delivering vital equipment. He is saying there, no executive should be allowed to make in the excess of $5 million, which is as high as it sounds, is a mere fraction of what they are making now. Additionally, maintenance repair equipment, once sold, is far too slow. It must be immediately enhanced. As president, I am demanding maintenance be spot on and on time. Therefore, I will not permit dividends or stock buybacks for defense companies until such time as these problems are rectified. Likewise, for salaries and executive compensations, military equipment is not being made fast enough. So, look, I think this is good. Banning stock buybacks for defense companies, capping their salary. We'll remember the outrage, Crystal, during the Great Recession when Wall Street gave all of its guys bonuses immediately after bailouts. Like you said, if you could just do stuff like this, it would be great. It really would.
Yeah, absolutely. And not up the defense budget to $1.5 trillion, which is another thing that he proposed. We'll probably put that in.
Unfortunately, their stocks did surge because of that, and did not take a hit as a result of this. But $1.5 trillion.
I'm more skeptical of this one just because, first of all, there's no way in hell Congress would pass something like that. Not a chance. Defense industry has Congress on lock. And number two, okay, maybe direct compensation is $5 million. What about the stock packages, which is where they make most of their money? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on this one. All right, guys, we broke a record for our A block, and it was like an hour and a half. So we're not gonna be able, but I think it was important to go deep on that one and evaluate all the angles, and I hope you guys appreciated that. And we're gonna move the stuff we were going to do in the latter half of the show. You'll just have to wait for it in the Friday show. Griffin is very excited to talk about Tony DeCopel, so he is
Griffin begged me not to do CBS.
That we didn't get to CBS today.
So now he gets to do it. and that's fine. Let's everybody hope and pray that this norovirus doesn't continue to make its way through my body and
Thoughts
through
and
my
prayers,
household.
Sagar. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thank you to everybody for watching the show. You know, look, I'm very thankful to be able to do it in times like this. I know it's very difficult, but I do think it's important. And I'll tell you this, you're definitely not going to see this anywhere else, okay? Which is all just blathering propaganda at other people, react videos to not actually talking to somebody who you disagree with. So I'm grateful to be able to do it with you today. Crystal, I wish I could have been there in studio. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all later.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.